fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the Alive Church Xfinity Series from Talladega Motor Speedway, where we bring you the Rob Holland 200. Of course, Rob was a great loss in the aerobatic community just days ago, and quite a tragedy. I've heard it aligned with, what Earnhardt was to the NASCAR. He kind of was to the aerobatic community, so our hearts go out to everybody out there, and we honor him here tonight. I'm Dean Doucette. He's Jared Carr. Jared, we got someone to honor, and we got ourselves a good race here, a good field.
Yeah, and it's always tough, Dean, when those kind of things happen. I'm not too familiar with that stuff, but it is tough, and those that are interested in that, it's definitely a big loss, like Dale Earnhardt was to the NASCAR community, like you said. But Dean, we go into Talladega tonight, massive race. We got so many drivers here tonight. This is a packed house of 35 cars, and I think this is going to be a kind of a big race for everybody involved, because this is, we're getting to this point in the season, Dean, where there is so much left to change on the standings and not a lot of time left in the series.
Yeah, well, maybe, Jared, I don't know if you have that information or not on the standings. We're having a hard time getting those up to date on the system here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we got Bryce Reiner. He's got a 39-point lead coming into tonight. And keep in mind, tonight we have 18 races in the schedule. 9 races have been completed, so we're halfway through. We're in the second half of this season. Recker is in second place. Guys, first ever win the last time we were on air with you guys. And then we have James A. Bear in third. He is 1 point behind Recker. Then you have Tony Ratliff, Darren Bruce, Eric Beller, Jason Jackson, Edward Kane, George Leal, and Rachel Hunt rounding out your top 10, Dean. And that is a stout top 10. And it doesn't even include some guys that have had some wins this year, like Brandon Sheffield in 16th, Kulikowski in 12th, that have wins this year, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, great little battle. And also, here at Dega, as you know, it's open for everybody, right? It's anybody's ball game, and we got a lot of people out here chasing this win here tonight. I mean, a 35-car field lines up tonight, Jared.
Yeah, Dean, and I even see your name on the list, so good luck out.
Well, we're having trouble getting in as a viewer these days. I'm not sure what's going on there, but nonetheless, I am not on the track, Jared. I'm going to stay in here in the booth with you. I mean, I think I might be able to do both. Maybe I should try one night.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time. It's I always have to give Dean a hard time, but yeah, absolutely, it's going to be a great season. A great series here tonight at Talladega, and it's going to be wild. And these guys are going to have to be patient, but patiently aggressive the entire night.
Yeah, patiently aggressive. I like that. That's, we up here we got the progressive conservatives. They seem a little confused as well, Jared. But nonetheless, let's get into tonight's starting order. It's Eric Beller on the point with a time of 54.253. Darren Bruce will be starting on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 will feature George Leal and Jason Brantley. Row number 3, you got Rachel Hunt and Bryce Reiner, your points leader. Row 4, it's Buckshot Ripka and Royce Valley. Craig Martin will be starting in 9th, with the Bulldog Adam Newton starting in 10th. 11th will see James Suggs and Troy Torgensen taking the field.
Yeah, and you look at back past there, Dean, we've got Corey Leal and Barry Labasco, our Wind Tunnel TV guy, out there in row 7. Jason Spear and Todd the Toadman Gilly in row 8. Kulikowski, he is our only restrictor plate winner so far this year, Dean. Watch out for him in row 9 with Michael Ottaviani. Then we have Corey Buskirk and James A. Bear, third place and point man there in row 10. George Racone and Mark Hamill in row 11. Paul K. Travis and Mickey Spear in row 12. And then rounding out your last qualifier was Tony Ratliff that took a time. And then we look down the rest of that order, Dean. We have Nick Baris, Derek Whitford, Jason Jackson, Edward Kane, Herb Ashley, Adam Recker, Tom Ashley, Eric Whiting, and George Dibble did not take times here tonight, Dean.
All right, nice big field. 34 on the track that I'm aware of anyway.
Yeah, and of those 34, Dean, we've raced 3 races in the Sunday night series between the winter and last year at Talladega. And we've had 3 different winners, and that's awesome. But none of those winners are here tonight, Dean, except for Jason Spear. So we have 1 defending winner in this race here tonight. Everybody else has never won in the RGR League at this track, Dean.
All right, highly interesting. So doors wide open. Pace car moseying on down pit road. We're about ready to go racing here. Beller and Bruce take the long crawl to the start-finish line.
Green.
And we are down and running in the Rob Holland 200.
Eric Beller with a great start there on the inside. Ripka pulls back ahead, steady with him.
Everybody doing a nice job
Darren
getting
Bruce,
up to
sorry.
speed. These guys going to be patient here. This is what we know. A 90-lap race, Jared. 45 laps. Is that a fuel mileage scenario? It possibly could be.
Yeah, Dean, and we're not running any kind of reduced tank like we were the last time we were at Talladega last year, at the end of last year. So this is going to be one of those situations, Dean, where we can do something like 33, 34 laps on fuel. So you are looking at a 2-stop at least. I mean, I don't think that you could do this in a 1-stop scenario.
If I could count on my hand how many times I've heard you say that, Jared.
Cautions break at the wrong time. Everything's a fuel mileage.
No, I'm not trying to really call you out, but what I'm trying to get at is that these guys, some of them, have a propensity to save way more than we think's possible. So don't be surprised if a small group of cars make it on 1 stop here tonight.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting if they can do it. I mean, like I said, we're I don't know if we're batting 1,000, Dean, but I think we're batting 1,000 on missing the strategy.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that. That's a pretty good bet right there. Darren Bruce swings it down to the low side there, so Bruce out front. Now Beller in second, Leal third on the inside. The outside now forms up behind Jason Brantley. Brantley, of course, in that East Coast web printers machine.
Yeah, Brantley had a great race going last time we were out, Dean, and got kind of taken aback by a late race caution, got involved in the wreck with late in that race, and now he's leading this outside line. Feels like he's getting a little bit more confidence, Dean, as the year goes on.
Well, yeah, we talk a lot about it, don't we, Jared? I mean, winning breeds confidence, or top 5s, top 10s breed confidence. It all comes in stages, and Brantley, I think, has entered that stage where the next thing is to see him in these top 3 positions. And if he can get that a couple of times, hey, victory lane's the next step.
Absolutely. And, Dean, we talk about Talladega, and, Bryce Reiner, he's got that 39-point lead. But there are 34 Xfinity cars on this track tonight, right? This is a kind of a, how do you race if you're Bryce Reiner, right? I mean, you have a massive lead. You're up in the front pack. You're second in that second outside line, right? But there is an opportunity for somebody like Adam Recker to come in here, finish in the top 3, and you get caught up in a wreck, and all of a sudden that points gap that you have, all of a sudden it's evaporated.
Yeah. I mean, this is a massive race for him, right? We got a big field, so a lot of points to lose. Reiner really could only lose the championship here, so I don't know how you be careful at a track like this, Jared, but I think he's doing the right thing. You just go race. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, we're still a little bit early in the year, so, maybe a little bit too early to think about points, but, I always like to be cognizant of the amount of guys in a race, so that way I'm not taken aback if I do end up finishing 34th tonight.
All right, let's go ahead and hop on board with James Suggs here. And we see the number 20 down on the inside lane. He's right behind Craig Martin in the 75 machine. We see Torgensen up high in that Blue Angels car.
Yeah, Torgensen with a great paint there. A lot of great paints in this league. I mean, one of the top leagues for paints, in my opinion, that we broadcast, Dean. And, you know, you look at this field and you look down this list, there are so many guys in this league that they're just racing for wins. And this is such a big gamble track anyway, but you have to have some talent to win races here, Dean.
Oh, you do. There's no doubt. There's always been that narrative of this doesn't take talent or whatever. It absolutely does. It's just a different skill set. Timing, precision, holding your lines, figuring out what line to be in, how to manipulate those lines. I mean, it's a really a tough thing, Jared.
You know, and Dean, I do want to go back to this. You know, look at these lap times, 51.6s, really spaced out. You know, I don't want to say that we're saving, but boy, it feels like they're not going 100% based on the lap times I have seen this week at Talladega.
Well, there's no pushing going on, right? So we see Reiner kind of get up under Brantley a couple of times, but not too aggressively. Generally, you can see there is a half car length between every car. They are not pushing, nor will they. Reiner jumps on Brantley again, and that's basically it. You'll see that on the outside. He's trying to get Brantley out front of the leaders and hope that Brantley jumps down to the bottom, giving him a clear shot. That's pretty common. Other than that, these guys are going to take it easy till late in the race. It's just what they do. The fuel mileage thing, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's guys we traditionally look at and for fuel mileage, and they kind of hover around the middle. The best way, Jared, is what? To have a car in front of you and behind you. That's the best saving spot, isn't it?
Absolutely. You definitely don't want to be in the front because you're obviously the ones that are pushing the air out of the way, so Darren Bruce in a bad spot, and you don't want to be on the high side out front because you're obviously taking the longer route around. So, you know, if you're not familiar, they measure these tracks basically from around the yellow line. So anything you go above the yellow line, it's going to be more than 2.66 miles technically, if you want to get down into the technicals of how tracks are measured. So you don't want to be on the outside, and you don't want to be leading the outside line because that's rough on the fuel mileage. And back in the back, Dean, sorry, as I'm talking, there's a lot of guys abandoning the high line. Mickey Spears gone down. Derek Whitford has gone down. George Racone has gone down. It all of a sudden just there was like it seemed like a concerted effort. I don't know if everybody's on the same team back there, but they all just dipped to the bottom.
Well, that's another thing to watch, isn't it? That if there is true fuel mileage saving, this is going to be single file. So I don't think anybody's saving. I think what you're seeing is conservative racing early, Talladega. There's really nothing to gain from getting out here and going 3 wide, 4 wide, and trying to get up to the front when you're on lap 9 of 90, Jared. So this guy's going to let this play out till at least, you know, somewhere around pit stops. I think probably after green flag pit stops. Back at the
3
back,
wide, back at the back.
Yeah, there's like a 4 wide almost back there.
I saw that earlier. Mickey Spear was trying to make a move through the middle earlier as well, but he didn't have anybody to go with him. So Mickey Spear, I think he's trying to go up to the front, but he hasn't been able to get anybody to follow him through.
Well, Edward Kane jumps up to the high side right now. Behind him, that looks like Whitford. So Whitford jumps on his bumper, and we've got a third lane forming up.
Yeah, and I believe Whitford and Kane are both on the same team. I won't swear to that. I don't have the team sheet in front of me tonight, unfortunately, but I think those guys do work together a little bit at least. So it's not surprising, and I wouldn't be surprised to see James A. Bear, who's third place in points. I mean, I think, you know, if I'm him, I'd try to go up there and lead this race and get some bonus points.
Yeah, I mean, really, they just need 1 or 2 more cars, right? Someone up in front of them jumps up there and helps them get some momentum, and Hamill looks a little unstable there as, I don't know if he was trying to join him or he's kind of caught in between, Jared. This is a dangerous spot that he's playing with there.
As everybody's going to get it sorted out for now.
I mean, you play that
Very tight there.
You play that half lane thing, half in, half out. That's how you get wrecked.
Got Doyle Lawrence joining us out there in the chat, saying good evening to everybody, and let's go Troy Torres. Of course, he's painted that 89 machine for Troy, but checks in every week on the broadcast.
Let's check in on Troy's paint. A beautiful paint it is, and of course, I always mention Doyle. I've seen a lot of his paints. Love them, Jared. Great iRacing painter. Go check him out. Doyle Lawrence.
Yeah, there's some on train paints, and Dean, you look in the back here, still 3 wide from about, that's around James A. Bear, so 21st back in that area. So
yeah, it looks like A. Bear is going to go to the bottom. Hamill still in the middle, so Hamill's in there. The 82 of Mickey Spears in there. And Kane and Whitford now have a little bit of help. That's Barise up there on the top.
Yeah, you look at this field, everybody, they're running a real wide gap. And it is making it really difficult for that outside line to make a momentum because they're not really utilizing that side draft, Dean. So I don't know what their strategy is, but they're not going to go forward if they don't kind of pinch that line down a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're just getting a feel for it. And I kind of like this. Like, let's get it. Ooh, and Paul Travis slides up to the high side. A little unstable when he did it, but gathers it up. So now we got 4 up there.
Now they're starting to get some momentum. Gilly slides up late. Well, no, he doesn't. He thought about it.
Yeah, he's up there. So Gilly's up there, but unsure of whether he wants to follow the guy in front of him or stay. Or no, that's Paul K. You're right. Gilly back in line.
Paints. Yeah.
So and Paul Travis Sr. there slides back down. So once again, Kane, Whitford, and Barise are alone, starting to move a little bit with all that jostling around. I think those other lanes slowed down just a bit.
Yeah, and Dean, it's something we don't talk about a lot when we do these restrictor plates, but the Xfinity car is not necessarily just hold it wide open and just kind of sit there and relax. It is a car that actually goes through some handling changes because it does not have the downforce that the other 2 vehicles have. The next gen, obviously, a different animal. The truck, very high downforce vehicle, not a lot of horsepower. So you can, kind of mat the throttle and just kind of turn the wheel. But the Xfinity car, as the run goes on, these tires start to wear out. And a lot of teams will not take 4 tires, Dean. So that means they're going to have to change their handling based on the tires they want to take. And, taking left sides does something totally different than taking right sides only,
Yeah, I mean, traditionally... I see the
Whitford
contact
hit the wall.
there
Sorry.
at the back. Yeah, a little contact between someone. I don't think it was Whitford. Someone else back there caught my eye, but they've got it sorted out. But yeah, the whole tire or take tires, don't take tires thing, or take 2, as Brantley takes the lead and jumps to the bottom here. The left sides are traditionally better on the super speedway. Almost everybody goes for the left sides. However, I mean, Jared, take 4. If you're filling up the tank, take 4. I mean, the amount of lost time is minimal. Take 4 tires. Your last stop, of course, you don't want any tires. I mean, maybe you can throw on left sides if you're getting a bunch of fuel or something, but if we got 1 green flag stop, you're filling up the tank. I'm taking 4 tires, Jared.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Left sides, in this situation, Dean, we're running this thing. Definitely, I think, you're going to need to fill it up. Either if you make it 1 stop, if you make it 2 stops, whatever it is, you're going to need to put a full tank of gas in at least 1 time, and I think you need to do 4 tires. We're getting 3 wide and dicey toward the front of the pack as Adam Newton leads the charge, and I think that's Torgerson tucked up behind him on that 3rd line.
Yeah, Newton and Torgerson up there in front of Kane. The Toad Man's up there as well. Meanwhile, Royce Valley really pushing Bryce Reiner. They're getting out of sorts a bit because of it. Opened up, and it looks like Baron Labosco coming up the middle.
Yeah, I noticed that Royce Valley is a little bit offset, and that's never something that is comforting when you're leading the group. I mean, it can work. You're trying to keep air on the car. I understand what Royce is doing, but if he just gets the wrong momentum there and he hits you unsquare, it can really cause a problem. But looks like Reiner was able to jump down and take the lead, and now Adam Newton jumps down in front of Valley. Torgerson to lead on the 3rd line.
Yeah, so Newton jumps in front of Valley. Valley hops right on his bumper here. So Valley not holding back. He is pushing to the front.
I love this. I love Royce Valley is like, hey, I'm here to race, man, and he is going to the front. Labasco on his back bumper, and Reiner with Darren Bruce down the bottom line.
So Reiner has taken over the inside spot, and you see, Valley almost comes down with Newton, but he was not clear. He comes back up, still unsettled, still in the middle of two lanes. Now he gets settled in. My goodness.
Yeah, that killed that momentum for the middle lane when Newton dropped down, and Torgerson got a big run there. He's getting pushed by Edward Kane and Whitford, but there's nobody behind Whitford. Todd Gilly not back there close enough, and Torgerson's going to jump down in front of Royce Valley. I think Troy has watched Royce kind of push these guys to the lead, and he's like, I want to get up there.
Yeah, well, it's been a heck of a push. I mean, he's doing a great job of pushing, but it's also dangerous, Jared. I mean, these guys got to be careful out here. We're on lap 18 of 90. The Bulldog out front with Reiner pushing. You got Bruce right third on the inside.
There's a big run coming off turn 2 here, Dean, and you see the top 4 in that second group. They are lined up. Labasco doing a great job there. I think that is George Leo. That might have been Ottaviani there. I think it's the 4th car on the line. I can't tell.
That's the number 9 of Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. There you go. Thank you.
He's got his lightsaber out, and he's looking to come forward.
Yeah, we're almost up to May the 4th. Be with you. I don't know. I tried.
That's a good one. Kane back upside. So Jared, Kane, Whitford, and the Toad Man up there, even when they've had chances to go to the middle, they keep going back up to the high side. They seem to like it up there.
Well, I like this because a lot of guys, what I've always seen in a lot of races that I've done and a lot of races, that league races, official races, doesn't matter. A lot of guys will run in the bottom line or run the second line the entire time, and they'll shuffle down to the bottom. And they don't go to the third line to the end of the race. And then they get up there, and the car doesn't handle the way they expected because they've been running the bottom the entire time, and they don't know what the wall effects are going to do when they get up there. I like this move. These guys are going up there. They're running the high line. They're getting an understanding of what they need, Dean, on that high side to be successful. How many cars do you need? Can you get by with 2? Can you get by with 3? Do you need 4? Like, what do you need to get up there and make a move happen? And I like learning that on lap 20 rather than trying to figure it out with 10 to go.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, basically practice makes perfect. You've got to learn the line, what's happening with all the lines, and then how to maximize your personal line.
Big run coming here from Bryce Reiner. Torgerson gave him a big push there, and Reiner's doing a great job with the side draft, right? He is trying to get those two guys separated, Dean. And this car, the Xfinity car, is not as sensitive to side draft as the truck is and as the next-gen car is. The next-gen car, obviously, way different vehicle, very sensitive to all kinds of aerodynamic advantages you could put on the vehicle. But the Xfinity car, you don't skew these things out very much, Dean, on a super speedway. As Kane might have sliced the wall there going into turn 1. I mean, that thing was yawed out. But Reiner trying to do everything he can to get alongside those top 2.
Yeah, it's a second time up there, and that is one danger of running up there a lot. When you get pushing, Jared, it's so hard from any position to see up ahead of you. You're blocked by the spoiler on the back of the car or the car in front of you. But, you know, up high, there's no room for error. I mean, a mistake means you're hitting the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you the other thing that just happened, Dean. We had a big cloud move over this track. And I don't know if you can tell at home, but it has gotten a little bit dark in the tri-oval, and that's going to start cooling this track down. In fact, we've gone down 2 degrees since we've started there in that tri-oval. As we got 3x3x3 at the front pack.
Now, Jared, what's that going to do to these cars? Are they going to feel a little more hooked up?
Yeah, I think they'll feel a little bit more hooked up. When we talk about dynamic weather and things like that, the humidity is pretty low, so these things are already kind of hummed out as far as horsepower. So not going to see a horsepower difference, but you are going to see a little bit of a grip change, a little bit more hooked up, maybe a little bit more comfortable with that cloud cover coming over it.
All right, they come back into the clouded portion of the track. Remember, it's a 2.5-mile track, so part of it's still under sun, part of it's under cloud here, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I'm looking at a 100-degree track temp through that tri-oval. It does jump up to 102 on the back straightaway. So, I mean, is that a big difference? Probably not, but it is something to keep an eye on.
Very interesting. Lap 23 of 90, and we're getting close to the point where if you're on a two-stopper now, Jared, and let's assume they are, because everybody's been racing, doesn't seem like a fuel mileage situation. Now, is 30 the optimal lap to come in, or do you want to go long the first couple of stops so you can shorten that last one?
I think that's conflicting, right? Is, when you look at it, if you shorten this thing up any amount, you're always given that gamble of like, will I have enough fuel if I am in the lead? And that's something a lot of people kind of don't take into account is that, okay, well, I've been riding in this pack. I've been running 13th the entire time. It says I need 10.7 gallons, whatever that number is, and I'll take that much. But then they all of a sudden they come out of the pits in a 4-car pack or a 5-car pack, and they're having to do a little bit more pushing, a little bit more driving. So in my opinion, I like the idea of running a little bit long, at least on one stop here tonight, Dean.
All right. Let's check in at the back of the packs here. So at the very back, you got Dibble, Whiting, Recker, the Ashleys, Tom, and Herb. You got Tony Ratliff back here with Kulikowski, Jackson, Ripka's back here. So is A. Bear. Jared, what are these guys doing here, single file at the back?
Well, I think they're in a good position, right? Because they are getting that draft. They're not having to hustle the car too much. And there's enough of them to where they can actually start kind of still save fuel in the pack that they're in and not lose contact of the draft. So, I mean, George Dibble's going to have to pedal a little bit to stay on the very back of this field. You don't want to lose the draft. But otherwise, I think that, these guys back in this back area, they have a lot of opportunity to save a little fuel.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, they got fuel saving on their mind and perhaps wreck avoidance on their mind. So it's going to be interesting. Now, as we get closer to pit stops, I mean, we talk about this a lot too. How important is it? You got to have friends, don't you, Jared? You can't really pit alone here at Dega.
You don't want to. No, I mean, you can get away with it if you pit the right time, but it is hard to do. So you definitely want at least 3 cars. 4 is the optimal. If you pit early with 4 cars, I've seen guys win with 4 cars, pitting early and making moves like that. So 4 cars, in my opinion, is the optimal. You start to get a little bit dicey as you get increased past 4 because everybody's got to get in line and get together here.
All right, Mickey Spear got a little out of line there. Everybody shot underneath him. He's hung out 3 wide on the high side. He'll try to file in here behind Whitford, I think, and he should do that soon before Rincon gets there. But he's going to kind of stay up there a little bit, and I think he's kind of forced into the second line now.
Yeah, he is, and I'll tell you what, man, Bryce Reiner's getting pushed. Bryce is trying to get the most laps led tonight. I can tell you that because he knows he has to have that point protection coming out of here. So he's been pushing his way to the front, and Torgerson with a good shove there. So Reiner leads that lap again. So Reiner drops to the bottom in front of the Bulldog.
Bryce Reiner out front, not only in the race, but in the points to 14, doing an awesome job. On the outside, Torgerson leading that line. And once again, it's Royce Valley doing the pushing.
Yeah, and Royce is shoved right up on there, and that's the big thing. You have to keep an eye on those temperatures because these things can overheat very quickly compared to some of these other vehicles.
All right, Baron Labosco, fellow booth mate, hops up there as well, so he's third on the high side as the high side begins to get a little momentum again.
Yeah, we should have got Baron in here for an in-race reporter right in the middle of the thick of things, break his concentration a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely would. There's no doubt. He's been itching for a good finish. He fancies himself a super speedway specialist as well. So we'll see how that plays out. He's looking pretty good right now.
Good push there. Great push.
A little bit off center though, Jared. I'm a little antsy every time I see it.
Yeah, I think it did. I think Royce did a good job there, but he has to be careful. You just don't want to get a big push here. He's going to roll up to the back, and boy, he is all over, sliding in between there. And this is looking a little bit dicey, and he's out of the line.
And
that's going to kill that
just
run.
Hit the 14 coming out of 4 there. I mean, that was a dangerous hit. It actually kind of made Newton go up the track a bit. So, I mean, good speed, but dangerous moves here, Jared.
Yeah, and Royce going to get shuffled out because of that. I think he over pushed and maybe have overheated that engine a little bit, had to drop out of line, but they were not hooked up very well there coming off turn 4, and that killed the momentum. And Baron Labosco shoving Torgensen, and Newton's trying to block that run. He does.
Newton with the move puts a block to that big run.
What will Troy do here? I mean, there's no stage points. These guys are just racing to lead laps and get bonus points at this point. Newton drops down. He'll leave the outside line again.
Yeah, he's dancing around here, pulling the Earnhardt, trying to block 2 lanes. This time, Torgensen got the run. It's Labosco doing the pushing this time.
You know, Dan, we watched this. We watched Reiner use Torgensen to get to the front. Newton's used Royce Valet to get to the front and things like that. Do you ever feel bad about dropping a guy that's pushing into the lead?
Not a single time, Jared. Now, when it's teammates, it's different, right? When it's teammates, you tend to decide those things amongst your team. They might want you to drop down so they can come forward and drop down themselves. Or they might want you to stay there and, hey, let's just control both lines. Or there's a lot of things in communication that goes on between teams.
Absolutely. And here comes Torgensen here. He's trying to lead a lap for the first time tonight, if you can believe that. I don't think he got it there, but it was awfully close. He did officially get it, so put Torgensen as our 6th different leader of the night, Dean.
All right. The Blue Angels machine seems appropriate here tonight as we honor Rob Holland here in the Rob Holland 200. I mean, I think it'd be appropriate to see the Blue Angels machine out front, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I would assume, and again, I apologize, but I assume that's kind of the type of stuff that Rob would have been doing.
Yeah, most definitely it would be. And an awesome thing here tonight, as, you know, worlds often collide, so to speak, and symmetry, you might call it, Jared.
Absolutely. And it's cool to see him honored tonight, and, it's been a good race, I think, in that honor.
All right, so the Bulldogs still leading.
So we got pit stops, Dean. Sorry, Dibble in pit road. Off of pit road. Gilly's still on pit road. He's down the way. Herb Ashley, Tony Ratliff, Adam Recker, Eric Whiting, all on pit road, all down the way right now almost.
So Dibble's all alone on the track. The Toad Man's all alone. Whiting's behind the Toad Man. He's coming. Ashley is coming. There's Tony Ratliff. He's behind, and Recker all alone sitting in his stall. So quite an unorganized pit stop, perhaps, Jared?
Yeah, and Recker down the way. He had a very long stop. It looks like, if I had to guess, Recker took 4 tires. Everybody else took 2 tires. And Dibble definitely took maybe no tires.
All right, so no symmetry there, as we brought up symmetry. And that's when you talk about pitting with people at the same time versus pitting with teammates and having communication. Jared, these are things you really got to iron out. As Dibble, the field comes up on him.
He's awfully slow. I think I would try to hold momentum there a little bit, but he is going to get tucked in, so.
Yeah, Dibble to the high side here. Everybody going around.
And I don't think that's a bad thing for Dibble, right? He's going to be in a pack for a large majority of the time. So even though he's a lap down, he is going to be in the pack. He is going to be part of the group. Whereas Adam Recker came out, and he is 2 laps down, Dean. That was a disastrous pit stop for Adam Recker, the last race's winner. Almost 2-minute pit stop, so I believe he may have sped in the process of everything there.
Yeah, I mean, this is unbelievable. Yeah, Dibble, who's in the pack. The Toad Man is 35 seconds behind. Whiting 40 and Herb Ashley 40 seconds behind, and Tony Ratliff 46 behind. I don't understand it. Maybe they're not all a lap down. I think they are, though. So, I mean, really,
they are all 1 lap down, except for Recker.
Effectively, these guys are going to need a caution outside of Dibble. Dibble's done it the best. He's hanging in the pack, and we'll see how that plays out. Right now, though, it's Torgerson out front, leading this thing. Newton pushing him with Reiner behind on the high side. Labosco, he's got Kane up there. He's got Baris right behind him, and Whitford in the 42, fourth in line.
They're going to catch Tony Ratliff, who had a good run going a couple weeks ago. Thought maybe he would be a winner, but he is going to duck up to the high side here.
Yeah, and that's going to go 2 laps down, Jared.
That is correct, yeah. So Tony, 33rd, 2 laps down.
I mean, that's a world of hurt here at Dega. So pit stops are imminent. You can tell everybody getting down to the low side, or a majority of people, as we wait and watch for people to come in. Nobody coming in right now.
And the thing is that if that group is all together, if they're like a team, I'm assuming that they are, or mostly are, they had the right amount of guys to come out. If they came out together, they would be in a pack, and they would be able to kind of maintain where they were at. But because they didn't, they're all strung apart, and it's hard to say how that's going to affect them overall.
Well, Jared, you're looking at 4 out of the 5 had 50-second stops. 1 guy had a 12-second stop. So these 4 guys got penalties, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It doesn't make sense any other way, right?
Right. So I mean, they must have all got penalties. That's that's practice makes perfect, is what it is, Jared. I mean, the one thing people forget always to practice is those pit roads, and especially in a team environment. What we like to do, I'll tell you this, is we like to get together 4 or 5 guys, choose where we're going to enter. I'll stay by the track, you go by the wall and such, and get it all sorted out.
Absolutely.
So right now, how about Nick Baris now on the outside? Kane and Whitford, who were 3 wide most of the night on the high side, find themselves up near the front right behind Baris.
Continuing to work this race, and I wonder, Dean, if these guys have made the decision or have made the ability to make it on 1 stop here, Dean, because this is getting into that territory where if you can't make it to 45, you should have already been on pit road, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't mind going long at this point, because the short pitters, none of them did well. So nobody's out there beating you right now. So you're okay to go long. I mean, the goal, Jared, I guess, would be on the 2nd stop that you only have to get 1 can of gas, right? What is it, 8.6 gallons or less? 1 can, much shorter pit time. I mean, that's a valid goal, is it not?
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
So good racing, and just in front of them, I'm not sure who's up there. It looks like it's Herb Ashley, the Toad Man, and Eric Whiting. They are just in front of our lead pack, a 3-man pack, looking to stay 1 lap down, Jared. I mean, big trouble. Another guy doing very well tonight, Mickey Spear, 20 spots up, finds himself in 4th place. How about that, Jared?
Yeah, doing a great job, Dean, and it's hard to get up there and stay up there. And Dean, I'm watching these guys start to get single file. That pack is kind of broken up, but we're going to get that pitter. James Suggs has called it out over the public radio, so James Suggs is going to be coming in at least Maybe some other people will join him. Here we go. Brantley is coming in. George Leal's coming in.
Brantley comes in hot with Leal behind him. Everybody looks to be clean and getting it sorted out. So good entry by everybody. We'll see who comes off of pit road first or together, more importantly. A little calamity there trying to enter stalls by a couple of cars.
Hamill, Corey Leal, Paul Kay, George Racone, Jason Jackson, Tom Ashley, all the drivers that are on pit road with the aforementioned Leal, Suggs, and Brantley, Dean. Now more guys getting single file. I think those first guys that pitted, Gilly, Whiting, and Herb Ashley, they're going to get bailed out thanks to these pits, but not by much.
All right, so coming off of pit road, pretty good.
Here we go.
Brantley and Leal do a nice job. Travis and others do a nice job, and the rest are coming in. Oh, Torgensen!
Oh, Torgensen locks it down.
So Torgensen saves it, but loses a lot of spots, but saves his race, Jared.
He comes out and almost hits Rachel Hunt there. Didn't see her. All kinds of action on pit road as Reiner and Adam Newton get together, and Newton's going to have to back up on pit road. This is a terrible stop for a lot of drivers here, Dean.
This is wild stuff out here, no doubt. So they try to get it all settled out. You see Beller at the front stall. There goes Bruce. So Bruce is out. No surprise there. Reiner with them. Labosco's with them. Newton's with them. A bunch of cars together, so they're doing a decent job. Here comes Jason Spear. He's coming in alone. Well, he's got 4 cars, including Royce Valley there. So it looks like
trying to get off pit
and
road.
Craig Merton with them, Jared.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting to see how this all flips out. Because here comes Torgerson. He is going to get out. It might be saved despite his bad pit. And there's the front group of that group. Adam Newton did a great recovery. He had to back up on pit road. Reiner kind of and him came headed for the same real estate. But Newton did a great job. And this field is going to be all spread apart, Dean. I don't know what it's going to look like, but boy, oh boy, it's going to be shaken up a little bit.
Yeah, this group with Baris, Beller, Leal, Brantley, they got to get organized in a hurry. They can't let that top 4 get away. Coming off of pit road, you got Spear, Martin, Kulikowski. They're getting passed right now. So it looks like that second group is in fact going to catch our main group. Spear has got a good chance of latching on here. He's going to have to really try to get in this group. I think he could just attach himself to the rear of it, Jared. Maybe not,
I think there's enough spacing. I think there's enough spacing to where these guys are going to come in, and this group is actually going to accordion back up. As you know, here, I do think that is possible, that there's just enough spacing. If we get a little bit of pushing here, I think the whole field might be back together, or at least this main group is going to get back together.
All right, so we look back to say Kulikowski, they're all coming back together. That's 20th place. Further back, Mickey Spear, apparently a bad pit stop. He was in 4th just moments ago. He's come out in trouble. He's got Dibble, Abear, Otto Viani, Tom Ashley there. Royce Valley's in this group too. So they're the ones in trouble, or at least the first group in trouble.
And watching everything start to stack back up. So there is a main group, and that is the top 9. That's Brantley at the very end of that group. Now it's George Racone at the very end of that group. Then you have your second group that is led by Lance Ripka. It has James Suggs, Mark Hamill, Troy Torgerson, Rachel Hunt, Todd Gilly in that group. They are gaining in a hurry. I think they're going to get back into the main group. And then you have the 3 stragglers. That's Kulikowski, Corey Leal, and looks like a lap car there that might be, I'm not sure who that is, but a lap car that's not in the lead lap pack.
That's Eric Whiting right there trying to latch on to those 2 cars. So it's a 13 of Eric Whiting.
Yeah, and I don't think Eric's close enough. But yeah, everybody's going to get back in this pack. I think Kulikowski in that group, they need to get organized very quickly if they want to try to get back into the main pack. Otherwise, they're going to get dropped here in a couple laps.
It's borderline too late. They need a big push. Corey Leal good driver. He's got to hop on that bumper, and he might need help. You know, Jared, sometimes when there's only two of you, it's hard to get to the bumper.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I wouldn't say wait up for Whiting because that's going to be a tough ask, right? But I think that, you know, you need just a little bit of help to get in that main group. And I don't think they're going to be able to do it, unfortunately, for them.
So Buskirk gets slapped. Looks like up there, Adam Recker. He's at least a couple laps down. So Recker in big trouble. Buskirk a lap down. And there's our lead group. And I think this is allowing Kulikowski to catch up. So they have caught up, Jared.
And good job for them. And I'll tell you, Dean, you look at these guys in that second group now. That's Mickey Spear, James A. Baird, George Dibble, who has 10 lap less fuel than everybody else around him, Ottaviani, Tom Ashley, Royce Valley, who was pushing earlier. That is a massive group back there. They need to get organized, and they're racing amongst themselves, and I don't think that's going to be very productive for them. And then you have a two-car tandem, and that's Jason Jackson and Edward Kane in the last cars on the lead lap, and they are well behind that second pack, Dean.
Yeah, tragedy for them. They're all alone. You got the Toad Man. He's up in the main group, but a lap down. Buskirk also in the main group, a lap down. Whiting has attached, so he was the last car in that behind Kulikowski and Leal. He has attached, but he's a lap down. Tony Ratliff, like you said, leads that second group, and I think these guys 10 seconds back. I mean, and at least Tony is a lap down. Reiner has just blinked out of the race again, so Reiner is still having connection issues.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because, you know, the goal, at least for me, whenever I was racing these races, is try to drop that field. Like when you see that there's an opportunity to drop some guys, drop them in a hurry. And that front four guys could have done it when they were separated out, but they didn't get organized quick enough, and it allowed that second group to kind of get in, and then allowed the third group, and so on and so forth. And we're basically back to a main group that we had of 20 cars on the lead lap in this main group.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Jared. I mean, you get out there off of pit road, it's got to be the highest form of focus, right? This is where all our pushing comes in. If there's time to latch onto a bumper, it's now. Now everybody back into the start, and look now on the high side, Jason Spear coming alive as he brings the Alive Church machine. He's got that sponsorship on the hood now too, and he's being pushed by his teammate Paul Travis Sr., or at least sponsor mate, Jared.
Absolutely, and these guys starting to race now, Dean, and you look at these laps, Dean, nobody can make it on one stop. Nobody has done enough laps to be able to make it on one stop. So this is kind of a thrash area of the race, right? Where you're going to go hard and try to push this pace, and there's all kinds of options of when you can pit. You can pit as early as lap 51, coming to lap 51. You can pit as late as basically 10 to go. So there's a lot of options here on this last little group, Dean.
All right, we hop on board with Craig Martin, and he's got a little message here, Jared. You can judge me on my checkered past.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
It's clever. A little clever out of the 75, Craig Martin. Currently riding behind George Rincon here. He's on the high side. Ooh, and you can see, you talked a little bit about it, Jared. These cars do get loose. They do get out of shape a little bit if you enter or exit in a wrong fashion, so to speak.
Yeah, and you know, Dean, you were talking about earlier, running using left side tires, doing left side tire only. That is great to get off pit road. That's why the majority of people, when they do two tire stops at super speedways, get on and off pit road very easily. Whereas if you take right side tires, it is a little bit more tricky. But as the run progresses, the right side tires obviously have more load, more wear, more heat, all that stuff. And it might not look like a lot on the black box to you, but it is a lot, and it does add up as the run goes on, and that's why you're seeing these guys start to get loose as this second run starts to materialize.
All right, some great knowledge and information there. George Leal back out front. So he resumes the lead here. He's got Bruce and Labosco pushing. On the high side, Whitford out leading that line in front of Spear and others. So good hard racing. Lap 50 of 90 here in the Rob Holland 200. Of course, as we were talked about earlier, the community, the aerobatic community, had lost Rob Holland over the last day or two, and it is hit them extremely hard. We honor them here tonight, and of course, we'll check in with Troy Torgensen here and see how he's doing in the number 13 machine, because he's got that Blue Angel car, and we think it's kind of representative, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very cool to have that paint on such a special race night here tonight, Dean.
I mean, Troy was leading, so he settles into 13th, and that's the interesting part of this race, Jared. You know, we had Newton, Labosco were up there, Bruce was near the front. They've all kind of fallen into the, I wouldn't say middle, but middle front of this pack, and now they got to work their way back to the front.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I think that's what you're seeing going on here as this run continues.
So Whitford out here leading now. How about that? You seen the work he been putting in. Him and Edward Kane 3 wide for numerous laps on the first run, trying to work their way through the whole field. He has done it. Now leading the race. Spears says, hey, wait, what about me? As he gets a big push from Paul Travis Sr. And the high line goes to the front. Low line battling back.
Yeah, now you have to think, Dean, you know, what can you do to get on and off pit road? Because that's where it's really going to come down to, is the pit window now opens up for anybody that wants to kind of gamble on going in early. That is open, but boy, it is getting tight up at the front.
Well, I tell you, that's what I like to do, Jared. Let's get 5 guys, let's get in early, have a great stop, push like crazy, and get away from everybody.
Yeah, if you have time to get through the drive-thru, sure. I mean, grab 5 guys, get a milkshake, get a double burger. I'm all for it, Dean.
All right. Well, I mean, I wasn't hungry till now, but I mean, you only got to say milkshake. It better be chocolate, Jared.
Well, or strawberry.
Oh my God. I might have to throw you out of the booth.
Hey, I think Baron would have those. He's not doing anything, right?
Strawberry is unacceptable, folks.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Well, I'll give you a little inside information, Jared. Unfortunately, I find it a weakness to disclose this information, but I am allergic to strawberries.
Oh, there's the truth. There's the truth.
It is. I mean, it looks like poison. Who would want to eat such a thing? Got little points on them and everything. It screams poison.
Yeah, it sucks, but you know, I wouldn't eat it either if I was in your position.
No, it's not a fun thing. Here we go.
Oh, big push there. Sorry, Dana. Yeah. Jason Spear got a great one. He could drop, but now can't.
I don't think he wants to, Jared, and that's where we're getting to that point in the race where you got to start thinking about where you want to finish this thing. And I ask you, Jared Carr, where do you want to finish? On the bottom, in the middle, or on the high side? Where do you want to be coming through 3 and 4 on the final lap?
I always liked, setting myself up to be in the outside lane some point toward the end of the race. Because if you're on the bottom, Dean, if you're on the bottom, you are at the mercy of at least one lane, maybe 2 lanes above you. And it's really hard to make a maneuver and make a move if you're on the bottom. Like, the holes do open up and things happen, but I think you're the least amount of control in that lane. The second lane is great, but if you get boxed in and you're not able to make a move, then you're in probably the worst spot, right? If you're in the middle lane and you got the third lane moving and you got the bottom lane moving and you're boxed in and you can't make a move either way, I think that's the toughest spot to be in. So I'm always the guy that goes up to the third lane. I don't care. Like, I kind of have a checkers or wreckers mentality 90% of the time. and I'll take the L if it is the L, but I'll go for it every time if I can.
Well, a true racer, Mr. Carr. Checkers or wreckers. Newton was just left behind by Spear and Travis. They jumped to the bottom. Spear took the lead. But now the line has reformed, and now Newton leads it.
And he's getting shoved through the corner there by Nick Barris, and he has done a good job tonight, Dean. I feel like we've talked about him a couple times, but probably not enough. He has been a great pusher tonight for a lot of guys.
Yeah, he's done a nice job.
Trying to clear it. Sorry.
Wow. Newton makes a move down, then back up. Behind him, Barris doesn't know what to do, avoids him, then falls back in line. So a bit of an odd move there, Jared.
They're continuing to work this race. And you can see the pace has picked up, Dean. We're doing 51 flats right now in that main group. And that second group, Dean, they've continued to battle. And I haven't watched them a whole lot, but they continue to battle, and they have been dropped by a further 6 seconds, Dean.
Yeah, Mickey Spear, A-Bear, Valley, Dibble, Ashley, Ottaviani, all in this group. That's Tom Ashley in that group. They are now about 15 seconds from the back of the pack, so they're in a world of hurt right now. They need a caution. And Jared, I got to tell you, the way these guys race this lap, they've been doing a great job. 2 wide all race long, basically, some 3 wide as well. There has not been a caution. I don't expect one until those last 10 laps, maybe the last 5 laps. Then it's no holds barred.
Yeah, I think that everything's looking really good. It's racing really well, but I think everybody knows that you can't win the race on lap 60. And that's not to say that a bad push can start a wreck, because it absolutely could. And that's what a large majority of the wrecks that happen outside of the last 20 laps are, is just a bad push, a bad move, thought they were clear, they weren't. Those kind of things happen. At plate races where things happen in milliseconds and not seconds, right? But when we get to the end of this race, people are going to start making bigger moves, Dean. Bigger runs are going to happen, and bigger pushes are going to happen, and tighter moves are going to happen. And you're exactly right. That's when I think we're going to see how this race really shakes out.
I want to add to that too, Jared. So you got the tighter moves, the more aggression, and you throw into it that on your last stop, you're unlikely to get tires, at least 4. So now you got looser cars to go along with that tighter, harder racing.
Yeah, and especially if you took 2 on the last stop, you could have right side tires or left side tires the entire race. And that could be the really treacherous handling vehicle. I'm not familiar with the fix setup this week, but it is something that you should be aware of.
Watch them all go around. What a beautiful sight, seeing this pack all run together. Newton led that lap. Spear surging back on the inside right now, getting another big push from Paul Travis Sr.
Jason Spear, and Dean, Jason Spear is the only winner here at Talladega in the Sunday Night Xfinity Series here at RGR that is in the field tonight. The other 2 guys aren't here tonight, so it's no surprise that Jason Spear finds himself with the lead pack.
No surprise to us to watch. Jason has been an adept super speedway racer for many years now, and it just shows you, people who think, there's limited talent on super speedways or something, how can one man find himself to the front in multiple races, Jared?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got 3 starts. He's got a 90.2 driver rating here, Dean, at this track. He is only bested by people that have raced more than one race, by Lance Ripka, who has a 93.7, Scott Olson a 94.6, and Klaus Williams, another winner. He is here tonight, folks. Klaus Williams is here. He is on the spotter stand for Todd Gilly, but he is not in the race. But he has a 110.5 in 2 previous races. So those are the guys that are ahead of Jason Spear, but that's it.
All right, so possible overheating here from Paul Travis. He backs off a spear. That allows Newton and Barise to come around and take the lead on the bottom. Now it's Rincon, and don't look now, Torgensen, second on the high side. There's Recker. Recker a lap down at least, but he'll be there to help, along with Reiner and Leal.
I do also want to point out real quick on the last little bit of the stats, Eric Beller, the only driver to finish in the top 10 every single Talladega race so far. He hasn't won any, but he has finished in the top 10 every time we've come to Talladega. So Eric Beller just on the outside of the top 10. Haven't talked a lot about him since the early part of the race, but he is still hanging in this main pack. So watch out for Eric Beller still tonight.
Yeah, Beller is not to be slept on. We all know nothing really begins, Jared, until the last pit stops take place. So people should be positioned right now. I mean, we're looking at 38 laps remaining in this race. When do you feel comfortable coming on to pit road, Jared?
I would say any time at this point. I think any time. Maybe put a little bit extra fuel in there to get through a green-white checker so you don't have to go back down pit road. But otherwise, I think you're very much in the good position to go down now.
George Rincon on the high side. George up 17 spots on the night. Torgerson comes in behind him. It'll be interesting as we go along to see who comes on pit road first. I mean, I think it's key, and I think everybody in this league is aware of it at this point, so it's hard to get away with it, Jared. There was a time you could come on to pit road with your teammates and maybe run 10 laps before the field came in. You'd be gone.
Absolutely, and I think that somebody could do that tonight, but nobody's doing it yet.
Nobody doing it yet. A little early, perhaps, fuel mileage-wise. Not sure how much they can actually do here. I don't know if we have stats on what the longest someone's run here tonight. But, you know, I think guys are a little scared to come in too early here because of fuel. And the fact, Jared, if you come in now, you're going to need 2 tanks of fuel. 2 cans, I should say.
Yeah, that is a good point. The longest we went tonight was the group of Jason Spear, Adam Kulikowski, Craig Martin, and Royce Valley all made it 40 laps before coming in.
Okay, so 26 to go. Seems to me I might have miscalculated the amount of laps left. Apparently I can't do math. I was adding to 100 instead of 90, Jared, so you were absolutely correct. I mean, I would have already been in. I would have been calling for my teammates to be in probably 5 laps ago.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't, that somebody hasn't made the decision to come in, because the early pit is what works at this point, right? I mean, you make sure you have enough fuel to make it to the end in a green-white checker, but otherwise, you know, I would start getting in pit road now.
You see a little bit of uneasiness up near the front. That was Torgerson coming down under the yellow line. Not sure why. Something happened up there, though, as they get all spread out on the high side. Newton leading with Barise right behind him. Spear third in line. On the high side, it's Rincon and Whitford.
I think there's starting to be a little bit of organization here, Dean, of getting down. But then we have 3 wide in the back. Gilly on the high side there.
So the Toad Man is a lap down, I believe. So he might be getting past, or I'm not sure what got him up there on that high side.
They all
Rincon
sorted out.
getting pushed to the lead. So George Rincon takes the lead. Jared, what is that, our 10th leader of the night?
That is our 11th leader.
11th leader
So good
here
job.
this evening. Awesome job by these guys. No cautions. 24 laps remaining here in the Live Church Xfinity Series. Live at Talladega for the Rob Holland 200. Right now, Rincon and Whitford leading the lanes. It's Newton and Baris in second and third. You got Recker up second in line on the high side. He is pushing up there, helping out all he can. And here we go. Newton's in.
Ferguson's in. Jason Spears in. He is deep in there. He might have sped that thing. Rachel Hunt's in. Baron Labasco, Darren Bruce, Rachel Hunt. This is the known quantities coming on pit road. I don't know if they're all on the same team, but I think they might be or close to it.
So Labasco come in. He got into the grass a little bit. We'll see. We'll go up where. Oh, and Bruce slid through his stall. A late adjustment on pit road. And Bruce, the man who always does pit road so good, watches Newton go off with Torgerson. Hunt comes out, as does Spear, right in front of him.
Sped. Labasco sped, Dean. So he is still on pit road.
So Labasco gets a pit road penalty, virtually killing his efforts here this evening. Now, this race actually led by the second car in line. That's Bryce Reiner, who rides behind Adam Recker. Adam Recker, that does not get him on the lead lap. He is several laps down. So will these guys come in? Will the guys who already came in, how are they doing? We look back, there's Jackson and Kane. Looks like this is going to help Newton and Torgerson as they catch up here and get a little draft from those two. But they're kind of alone. They got Hunt 3 seconds behind along with Spear. So they're all broken up, Jared. Not a great job by group number one.
Yeah, that's a tough break because I think there was an opportunity for those guys to really make a big statement here, and they just got a little bit disorganized, and that's all it takes.
Now, Leal, along with Reiner, find themselves at the front in front of Whitford and Rincon. On the outside, that looks like the Toad Man leading the line. So the Toad Man, a lap down, he's only one down, and he's leading the charge, trying to get it back the old-fashioned way.
Doing a good job of it. Recker now at the lead of this group, but he is one lap down still. So he was 2 laps down, and technically he is 1 lap down now. So he would need a caution right now for this to play out for him.
All right, so we settle in. 20 to go. A-Bear and all of them, they're still there now, almost 18 seconds behind the lead pack. So they got organized. They stopped bleeding time, Jared, but it was too little too late as they're, approaching 20 seconds behind the lead group.
They continue.
Imminent.
Yeah, we're just kind of, waiting for this kind of thing to happen right now. But I'll tell you what, Dean, I look at this pack. It is starting that third group is now back together. All right, that is includes the guys that pitted on that first group, which is Newton, Torgerson, Hunt, Spear, and Darren Bruce are all back together. So it didn't maybe look organized, but it did pay off for them because they've been able to catch up to Edward Kane, Jason Jackson, who are the 2 guys by themselves. So they've got a bigger pack back there, and they are making good time as we got another group on pit road. That is the second pack on pit road. That's James Abear, Ottaviani, Mickey Spear, Royce Valley, Tom Ashley, George Dibble on pit road now, Dean.
All right, so they come in. This is a big stop. Got to be clean.
James Suggs is coming in, Dean. He's called it out on the radio. Here we go. Whitford is in with him.
And here comes Beller, Rincon, Whitford, a whole pack of cars. Oh, and into the back. Paris gets into Whitford. Whitford backs off the wall, almost gets into others. Calamity strikes again. So a mild touch there, that is really going to hurt. They all recovered decently, but we'll see how much pain this is going to cause them. Beller comes off of pit road. Rincon and Baris will be somewhat with them. We go back up front. Reiner, Leal, Brantley right there now. Ripka's right there, along with Corey Leal and Kulikowski. So are these guys about to come in? A couple will peel off. Reiner.
Oh, wow.
Reiner comes in
Recker?
with Recker. So Reiner basically all alone. He's got the lap car.
Yeah, that is not good. I don't know if Reiner is on an island, but boy, that is not a good not a good feeling when you're the first one and the only one on pit road. Recker's down away already, Dean. Can Reiner get out with him?
Yeah, I don't know if he can.
He
there
does.
He goes. There is Recker, so they'll come out together. It shouldn't be too bad for them. We go back to our leaders. So we'll go to Kulikowski, and we'll hop on board with Kulikowski as they come out of 4. And here they come. Everything looking pretty controlled here from the Kulikowski machine. Oh, and he's loose, and he's into Hamill. Hamill saves it. My goodness.
My goodness is right. And Recker and Reiner are going to come out, Dean, ahead of the main pack of Beller and Rincon and Baris. So this is going to work out for Reiner. I don't know how. That normally never works out, but he is going to come out ahead of the pack, and that includes Torgerson, includes Rachel Hunt. So everybody in the first 2 pit stops, first 3 pit stops, I guess, technically, are all going to come out together and still be in a main pack. Now, where is this 4th pit stop group going to come in?
Yeah, this is the big key. So we're going by the start-finish line right now. Reiner getting passed by several cars, but will hang in there pretty good as we go by Hamill. There is Ripka. There's Kulikowski. They're in trouble, but they might be able to latch on with some really good work from there.
And these first 4 guys that with George Leal and Corey Leal, I think they'll be fine. They're going to force these guys 3 wide, though. That's going to make it very tedious. Brantley on the very bottom.
Beller
so far,
sliding
so
through here in a hurry.
Well, you can feel the intensity has just picked up as we got a couple cars. That's Kane and Jason Jackson there at the back, Dean. I think it's Jason Jackson. Might be somebody else, but they're coming in late. They had not pitted yet.
There's Ripka and Kulikowski. They got the Toad Man kind of helping them out, but I think they could be done. There's Brantley and Suggs in the back of the main group. 3 wide towards... Oh, no, and Newton's around. Hunt and Newton come together. They are wrecking. Major wreck here. Hunt with heavy...
No wrecking. Jason Spear hard in the wall.
And Hamill gets into Hunt late. Wow.
Wow, and that's just what happens at these races, Dean. Like when that third line, and none of these guys that were in the third line, Dean, they haven't been up there all night, and it looks like just a push maybe from Jason Spear got into Rachel Hunt, and that pushed Rachel Hunt into Newton, and that just sent everybody around. Craig Martin, Harvey in the wall, and then Jason Spear comes down, trying to hold on to the car, gets into the side of Jason Suggs,
well,
and
looks like Hunt and Newton got loose. Spear was not into Hunt as far as I could tell. Newton comes down.
Was.
And that's Craig Martin he gets into. They get into it. Spear trying to avoid it, coming down the track. He'll get into the 20 here. They go around. Spear in the 20 still wrecking. Torgerson slides right on through. You see the Toad Man comes up and gets Newton late. So some carnage there as we get under caution late here in the Rob Holland 200.
Yeah, that was tight. It looks like there might have been a little push from Spear into Hunt, but it was very tight. But either way, big wreck, a lot of cars involved. I mean, Gilly, heavy damage. Craig Martin, that car is crab walking. I don't think he's going to be done, thanks to some of the new damage, holding that they do now. I don't think he'll be able to get back out. But man, Eric Beller is stopped on the track. I didn't think he got involved in that wreck, Dean.
Yeah, he's gone to the garage. He's done for the night. Yeah, he somehow, some way, at some point, he got some pretty heavy damage there. The car would not turn. So now we have on pit road, we got guys doing work down here: Spear, Newton, Suggs, Baris, Whitford, Ashley, Craig Martin coming in right now. And wow, that rear tire is pointing in the wrong direction, Jared.
Yeah, toe broke on that machine for sure. I'm looking at Eric Beller. He was not involved in that wreck, so I'm trying to figure out what happened to Eric. He's behind the pace car, and then all of a sudden he just speeds up past the pace car, slams the brakes down, and heads to pit road. Or heads to the garage. I mean, that is weird. I don't know if maybe his monitors froze up or something like that. We've seen that happen a few times, but that is very strange. But Beller is not retired from the race, so maybe he can get back out there, but that is very weird.
Well, let's see. We got time. Let's see if we can get a little replay on what happened with Beller. So there you see him. Speeds up, goes by the pace car, like you said. Car looks fine. Yeah, this is a home emergency is what I would say, Jared. That happens from time to time with people. You get a bad phone call or whatever it may be. We certainly hope nothing serious there in the Beller household. Well, we have shook it up with 13 to go, Jared. A little outside of my prediction of 10 to go, but here we go. We are in shootout territory. We currently have 21 cars on the lead lap. Edward Kane being the last of them, so him and Labosco and Jackson will be at the back here. But George Rincon, along with George Leal, the Battle of the Georges here out front. This is going to get interesting, Jared.
Yeah.
It's Jared with the great
Man.
commentary there with the yeah. But nonetheless, Jared, I'm sorry to make fun. It's going to be interesting because we have just the right amount of time, Jared. I mean, it takes 3 laps to kind of get all the lines wound up, maybe 4 or 5 for the outside to get wound up. That leaves us with, 10 laps or so of really hard racing.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I said it is I'm trying to wrap my head around all the things we just saw there because it was a very intense section. And there's a lot of guys and gals that were involved in that wreck that had a chance to win tonight. And now all of a sudden you've reduced that field down. I mean, Beller on pit road, Spear on pit road. That's 2 guys that have won plate races out of the race. Kulikowski, our Daytona winner, out of the race, or at least out of contention. Adam Newton, Craig Martin, Adam Recker is 2 laps down back there. Rachel Hunt is out. Todd Gillies out. I mean, this is shaking up the field quite a bit. And that doesn't include the guys that are just damaged, right? So there's still a lot of stuff that could happen here in this race.
Oh, there certainly is. I mean, this is anybody's game, and this is the tricky part. Where do you position yourself? Do you position yourself as you're hoping for a wreck, or are you going for it? Are you making moves? 3 wide, dare I say 4 wide. We're at Dega. It's possible, Jared.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is Lucky Dog. We haven't had any of those tonight until just now. Baron Labosco is the recipient, so he is back on the lead lap. That will leave 5 cars 1 lap down that are still on the track as we come back here to green, Dean.
Yeah, and they'll be in the pack, so more battles for someone like Labosco. Got to get around them as well. Up front, pace cars off. Here we go. Rincon and Leal, Reiner and Corey Leal in row 2. We got our title sponsors in row 3 in the Alive Church and the East Coast machine.
Great start, but it's straggly, Dean. It is straggly as Racone jumps out very heavily. Reiner's well behind him, and Paul K. Travis was sleeping on the start, and he's got a 3-car length distance between him and the first 2 cars in that pack.
Well, that's why I said, it's good we have 10 laps or so. These people, I mean, look at the spacing. What was everybody doing? Sleeping on the wheels out here. They will form back up, though, Jared, and we're about to go battling.
We just heard from Rachel Hunt out of the infield care center, Dean. She said, ouch, that hurt, but good luck, everybody out there. Good luck, guys. So tough break for Rachel Hunt, just in the wrong spot there.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate to see. No doubt some good cars torn up. So now we get organized here, and the outside lane starts to come forward. And don't look now, but George Leal, and he's got Corey right behind him.
Yeah, now it's all bets off, right? I mean, I don't think there's a team play. I don't think there's anything like that at this point. You're out here to try to win this race, and you're going to work with whoever is going to help you win the race, right, Dean?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, if you're back in that 10th area and you got a teammate with you, you might talk him into jumping up to the high side or something to that effect. But you're right. At this point, it's every man for himself. Let's go. And, I'm ready to go get this one.
And James A. Barradine, I mean, he was left for dead in that second pack and would not have been involved in this race at all. Now he's back up there, and he's leading the charge on the 3rd line, and now Torgerson flops up in front of him, and somebody's in front of Torgerson now. That's Darren Bruce. Here comes Corey Leal to the top. There's not any room there, Corey. Oh,
no, and it closes it off, and they are dead. Torgerson heavily damaged. A ton of cars. Kane, Whitford, Ashley all involved. Whiting, Abear involved. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that was indecisiveness by Corey Leal there. There was a hole, and he just kind of moseyed up, and the hole closed. So you got to make a decision much quicker than that, and hard impact. A lot of good drivers taken out in that wreck. Torgerson, the first of those involved. We see Edward Kane damaged and others.
So this is interesting, Jared. I'm not sure, but it looks like multiple things happening here. So Torgerson pushing Bruce. On the middle lane, you see Corey Leal, second in line. They're filtering up together. He's following Abear up towards the high side, but maybe unaware Bruce is coming. Bruce checks up. Torgerson hits him. Leal keeps coming up, and it's on from there. Abear into Torgerson. Behind him, it looks like Ripka trying to stay out of it under heavy braking. Great braking by the 52. As he watches car after car go by him and into the wreck. So, I mean, he tried to hold it up there high. Pretty good job there. Wow, and there goes a hood flying over our camera. That's the hood of Eric Whiting. Looks like Tony Ratliff's hood's going for a ride as well. And the carnage is heavy.
Yeah, a lot of good cars taken out, and Dean, that's making things looking better and better for Bryce Reiner. Dean, we talked about the top of the hour, when we were talking about the guys, points on the table. Bryce Reiner, could have been involved in one of these wrecks, and he could be sitting on pit road in 34th position instead. He's got a good chance to finish in the top 20 here tonight and extend that points lead over these guys that are chasing him down. And that's got to feel a little bit good, and I think he can race with a little bit more relaxed now.
Yeah, I mean, when you're not in the big one, your eyes light up. I've just beat maybe 10 cars who are going to be unable to race here, and now I'm freed up a little bit. Several cars on pit road right now.
And I will get you a lucky dog, but right now everything's kind of upside down because of where the standings are, where the people involved in the wreck. But right now it is Corey Buskirk that'll be our second lucky dog of the night, Dean.
All right. Corey Buskirk coming around. Not sure if this puts him on the lead lap or what's going on with Corey right now.
That Looks like it puts him back on lead lap, Dean, from what I can tell.
Okay, so great job for Corey here, and a little bonus racing almost. That's the way I'd feel about it. Second life, Jared. So up front, still Rincon, Reiner, Leal, Travis, Brantley, your top 5. Mickey Spear, Nick Barisa, George Dibble, Royce Valley, and Michael Ottaviani, your top 10. How about that? How about the night of Royce Valley, Jared?
Yeah, he's another guy that was in that second pack left for dead. He had pushed some guys to the front in that first sequence, had a bad pit stop, got cycled out into the second pack, couldn't latch onto the first pack, and was kind of sitting around, in that 20th to 25th position because of that, and was kind of going to finish there. Then we had that caution, gets back up in there, and now all of a sudden, as you watch right now, he is back in the main pack and has an opportunity to put the 47 machine in victory lane tonight.
And you got George Dibble, our big mover on the night, right in front of him. He's up 27 spots, and he's got the McDonald's car out. You know how much I like that, Jared.
Yeah, are you loving it, or?
I'm loving it.
Yeah. So we do have some folks that have officially retired from the race here tonight. They include Mark Hamill. He is done. Rachel Hunt, she is done. Tony Ratliff has retired. Troy Torgerson has retired officially from the race. We've lost 4. Everybody else still trying to make a go of it, at least. Whether they'll be able to actually get back out here and finish this race, I don't know. But everybody else is still trying to make a go of it, except for the Toad Man, who is also done for the race as well.
All right. Tough nights for some. And Jason Jackson going around the track, so not sure what his circumstance was, but he will be on the lead lap. Baron Labosco also coming around. Looks like A Bear coming around. Bruce?
Yeah, all these folks late pit exits, so they're all trying to get caught back up. They pitted very late trying to get some damage fixed, as much damage as they could, so they will be coming around here now.
Yeah, it looks like they're all going to be on the lead lap. Even Bruce and Whitford. Kane as well. Newton coming around even though he's not on the lead lap. So here we go. Last time I said, we had about 12 to go. Lots of time. Now it's 6 to go. 5 to go at the line, Jared. It's going to be a little tougher to get momentum and make moves. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think that you have to get organized quick, right? It takes a lap to get up to speed just about in these vehicles. You have to get going after that. You have to force the third line if you want to make a move, and you're going to have to go with whoever is going to go with you. And there can't be any hesitation. We saw hesitation cause the last wreck. Can't be any hesitation. You've got to go, and now you're out of time. You're going to have to go and make a move if you want to try to win this race, if you're outside the top 4 or 5 rows, or 4 or 5 positions.
All right. Pace car off the track. 5 to go at the line for the Rob Holland 200 here at Talladega with the Alive Church Xfinity Series. George Rincon and Bryce Reiner to lead them on down.
Green flag, green flag.
Good start by Rincon and George Lee on the bottom. Bad start by Bryce Reiner on the outside. And Paul Kay is going to jump up to the back end of him. The top 5, Dean, have started to kind of already open up a gap. Dean, I don't know what the rest of the field's doing, but it's not looking good for everybody else.
They've been very tentative on these restarts. Now, there could be a damage factor on some of these cars that's slowing up some of them, but this is great news again for Reiner and others up here as they get a little separation.
Everybody's starting to get caught back up. Now, we do have some guys that are dropping off the back. Edward Kane, one of those, really slow on the field, but he will not be a factor in the victory here tonight. Bruce is making a move, so I think Bruce might still have speed if he can catch up to the back of this field. But boy, at the front of the field right now, Reiner getting a heavy shove there by Paul K. Travis.
Yeah, one guy crawling into this thing, Otto Viani, up into 9th. He's taking a peek to the high side. He's got Ripka behind him. No move yet. Out front, Reiner, he slides down to the bottom in front of Ring Cone. This will give the outside lane to Paul Travis Sr. He's got Baris on his back. Baris right to the bumper. Reiner tries to throw a block and they hang him out. Contact
Reiner,
on the bottom.
and that's going to jack up the bottom line as Racone loses his draft mate. Reiner's going to slide in. Paul K trying to side draft. Everybody can't.
No room.
Him.
The yellow
Paul
flag is
K is around. Reiner wrecked. Ripka wrecked.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw that going on. Paul K was trying to balance both of those lanes, and he just got a little bit too high, and Reiner was underneath of him. I don't know if there was room, but at the same time, you got to take that move at this point in the race.
I mean, I'm not sure what made all this happen. We'll go back quite a bit here. You see Paul Travis leading the way. I got to get on a different camera here. So he is in the middle here. He sees the run coming on the outside, Jared. Does he try to go up and block it? He's drifting up. It looks like he's trying to stay down. He's unsure of himself. Reiner sees the door open. He tries to fit it in underneath, and now we're 4 wide. Paul comes back down, and Reiner's there. It's over. Smoke tails going everywhere, and Ripka gets collected.
Yeah, that's a tough spot, right? I mean, everything got a little bit janky with that little contact on the back straightaway that kind of caused things to kind of get out of whack. Paul K lost his momentum because Reiner got slowed up back there, and then he couldn't cover off either move. He couldn't cover off the bottom, he couldn't cover off the top, and got stuck in no man's land. I don't know what you could have done differently in that situation. If I was Reiner, I probably wouldn't have tried to go underneath of him, but he might not have known they were 3 wide already in front of him, so it's kind of difficult position to be in that spot, and unfortunately just more carnage here at the end of a green flag race that was green flag up for the first 78 circuits.
And look at the side of Reiner's car here. I don't know if I've ever seen that, Jared. It looks like the wrap has peeled partially off. That is a very unique look here for iRacing.
Yeah, it is. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I see it on the stream, but I don't see it on my end, so that's very weird. But you're right. Like, the one is gone on the Reiner machine. That is very strange.
I've got a special computer, Jared.
Well, that's great. I mean, I am jealous. So we look at this end of this race, Dean. They do have one green-white checker in this race. And like I said, I think a lot of guys are involved in that last wreck. Paul K, Bryce Reiner, they're done. I don't think they're going to be able to get back out here. But we do have one opportunity to make that happen, and that's it. Once a wreck happens and if they haven't taken the white flag, the caution flag ends the event. So something to keep in mind here for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Jared, from what we've seen on these restarts, I mean, they got anybody beyond 4th, 5th place has got to do a better job than what we've seen, or they've got no shot. This thing's going to end in a hurry, Jared.
Oh yeah, they don't have time to get organized now. You have to be organized at the onset, and they haven't really done it. At least the guys that have been outside the top 3 row or top 3 rows have just kind of fallen asleep at the wheel, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make it happen if they don't stay on top of it, Dean, and we'll see what happens here.
Now, I'd tell you what I would do here, Jared. If I'm in, say, 8th place, I'm Royce Valley, I've already instructed everybody I'm going straight down the middle. Better watch out.
Not messing around, Dean Doucette is not.
Well, there's no time for the high side, is what I think, right? You can't get it wound up quick enough to make a move on the high side. So if you leave, and that's what I was going to say about that wreck, actually. Paul K protecting, perhaps squeezing up the track. The one thing I want to, with super speedway racing, late in races, you want to always squeeze down to the lane below you to leave no gaps. Because if there's a gap, someone's going to try and fill it, Jared.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what happened. Dean. And, you know, I look at these guys racing here tonight that are left in this race. I mean, we've gotten, we're down to it. I mean, there's a lot of guys out here that have never won in this league. Now, George Leal obviously has won quite a few races. He's never won at Talladega, but you have George Racone, he's never won in the league. You got Nick Maurice, he's never won. Mickey Spears never won. Jason Brantley, George Dibble, Ottaviani, Royce Valley, James Suggs. None of these guys have ever won. You have to go back to Darren Bruce in 12th place, in Ripka in 13th place to find consistent winners outside of George Leal, Dean. There is a lot of hungry drivers trying to get their first ever win in RGR in the Sunday night series, and I think we're going to get it tonight.
And do you think there's also a lot of nervous drivers, Jared?
Absolutely. I think, you know, if you're never in this position and you're not up front, and some of these guys have been, they've just had bad luck. George Raccone's had great runs, right? But he just hasn't been able to get a win. And I think when you look at these guys, I think that they're going to be a little on edge. And you might see a wreck because they're trying to protect the race so much.
Well, a wreck ends it, is that correct?
Yeah, as long as they have not taken the white flag, the yellow flag will end the race.
All right, any flag will end the race. Here we go. The pace car coming out of 4 here, sauntering around the track, Jared.
And this is going to be huge here. And they're already, Jason Brantley, way too much of a gap. I know they have a little bit of time to tighten this up, but these guys are going to start having to get on top of it and get tighter here, Dean. Tight.
Get tight. Get up on it. Sit up in your chair. We're about to finish this thing. It's the Rob Holland 200. Rincon and Leal lead them on. Great start by Rincon, but I'm not sure he wanted it. He gets away a little bit.
And still straggly. We got about 6 cars that did a good job. Everybody else very straggly further back, especially on the outside line. My goodness, there's no help back there. These guys are probably DOA.
Hard to believe, Jared, this late. But it's Maurice pushing Rincon. Brantley behind them on the high side. Leal, his only help. Mickey Spear up there looking to get his first win. Here comes, I think that's Ottaviani on the high side along with Valley.
And here they go into turn number 2. So here we go, white flag. And deep in that second pack, things are getting a little bit dicey as well. We'll focus on that first pack. But if a wreck happens in that second pack, that could end the race just the same. Here we go. White
Up
flag
the middle,
in the flagman's hand.
Someone moving down the middle. I love it. Trying. That's Valley peeking in there. Nothing doing so far. Right now, Rincon, along with Maurice, leading Leal and Mickey Spear.
Mickey Spear trying to get squared up to George Leal. He's got Royce Valley on the back end. Doesn't get to him well enough. Here comes Maurice on the back end of George Racone. Halfway down the back straightaway, Racone with a car-linked lead. He's not going to pull a block yet.
Here comes Valley up on the high side. He's got Suggs with him. Can they get their momentum together? Last quarter. It's all on the line, and Leal loses it from a push from Spear. He's around. We stay green. Maurice with the move. He goes to the outside. Can he get around Rincon? Rincon goes up to try and give him a shot. Maurice keeps coming. It's Nick Maurice at the line.
And I think Jason Brantley might have edged out Mickey Spear for the last spot on the podium. But, Dean, it is Nick Maurice by 0.5 there at the end, and that is so tough. George Racone was so close, Dean, and that is tough. But what a job by Nick Maurice. First ever RGR win.
Yeah, unbelievable. He is going to be pumped about that. There is no doubt. What a victory. I mean, it was an exciting little finish there, and it was a tough one, Jared.
Yeah, it was, and that's what happens. When there's a wreck that happens, it separates that field, right? There was a push there. I didn't get a good look at it. Somebody got in the back of Leal, got him a little bit loose, or maybe on the corner or something along those lines. And that separated that whole pack out. And then when that happens and you're on your own, you have to utilize the side draft. And it's always easier if you're on the outside than if you're on the inside, Dean. And unfortunately, Racone tried his best. He did a great job, but he needed a little bit of help there at the end. And unfortunately, he didn't have anybody with him.
All right, we watch here in slow motion And we've got Spear with Leal, mid-corner, a little rub, and you see him slide across that bumper. Leal can't hang on to it, and that's what caused it. He comes down, he gets Mickey Spear, he gets Buskirk, and Valley gets a piece of it as well. This looks like Jackson Late gets a piece of it. Everybody else slides on through, and we go up front. Baris pulls out quickly. Rincon tries to block, realizes he can't. He's already there, and we see the race to the line after that. Baris, with too much momentum, he comes on through. Man, and right behind him, they were coming in a hurry. Holy smokes.
Yeah, they had all that draft momentum, and these two guys, I mean, Nick Baris did a great job with that side draft, pulled Rincon back, and he was able to really make a move there, pulled him back again. Rincon, the only thing Rincon could have done is try to get to his back end, and the other problem is Brantley went to the outside, right? And Rincon, I think, was thinking Brantley was going to go low, but I think if Rincon had ran the middle, I think he would have gotten a shot from Brantley and probably might have won this race.
I mean, there's a lot of what-ifs in this race, Jared, but it's Nick Baris with no what-ifs. He's in victory lane. We look in on the final results. You see there with Brantley, Rincon second, Brantley third, Spear, Dibble, your top five. Great finish for George. Baron Labosco are made up in the booth, comes in sixth. It's Suggs seventh, Bruce, Ottaviani, and Jackson in the top 10. Valley, Aber, Kane, Ripka, and Woodford in the top 15. I mean, we look through here. Newton finishing back in 19th. Leal, late, falls to 17th, Jared.
Yeah, a tough break for Leal at the very end there. You look back at the rest of these guys. Paul Kay in 18th. Adam Newton recovers. The only car one lap down in 19th. Then Recker, who was 2 laps down since the very first pit stop, he finishes 2 laps down, but this time in 20th. Tom Ashley in 21st. Craig Martin 22nd. Then you have Herb Ashley. Bryce Reiner did not finish the race. He is done in 24th. Kulikowski 25th. Leal, Torgerson, Whiting, Tony Ratliff, Eric Beller, your top 30. Then you have Jason Spear, Rachel Hunt, Mark Hamill, Todd Gilly rounds out your field tonight, Dean. And this is going to shake out the points a little bit.
When you look at the bottom, right, you get Spear, Hunt, Beller, Torgerson. These are all people who were in the lead or around the lead. And then what you were talking about, Bryce Reiner, who we thought was kind of in the safety zone. Well, he did about just as bad as you could do from the safety zone, finishing 24th.
Yeah, and the bad thing is, the good thing is Recker, finished 2 laps down 20th. So Recker didn't gain a lot of ground. The bad news is Bear finished in 12th. So, I mean, that's not a lot of points, but still enough to kind of get Bear back in the conversation of, putting a little bit of heat on Reiner moving forward.
Absolutely. Exciting finish here at the Rob Holland 200 right now. Let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll get some race interviews, including Nick Baris. Here at the Rob Holland 200 live from Talladega with the Alive Church Xfinity Series. I'm telling you, Jared, I mean, we had a little bit of everything here, different strategies, a little bit on pit road, and then, of course, those last 15 laps got crazy.
Yeah, and that's expected at plate racing, Dean. That's always kind of the case. As everybody gets back in, they're like, "Well, we have a chance now." You know, guys that were 20 seconds off the pack, you know, they're like, "Wow, we have an opportunity." And when that happens, you know, everybody starts to get a little bit antsy, and you saw it there tonight that everybody, you know, just a little bit of bad blocks, bad, you know, things like that, and that's just part of plate racing, Dean.
It really is. I mean, plate racing can produce thrills and victories and agonizing defeats as well. But right now, we talked to someone who had a good race and a great finish. That's the number 3 of Jason Brantley. Congratulations, man, on number 1, surviving the end of a plate race, and number 2, this third place finish tonight, Jason.
Hey guys, yeah, it feels good to get up here and do an interview with you guys finally.
Absolutely. I mean, not just you, but 2 others as well. The little different names, and we love to see it, Jason. And we've been talking a lot about you. You know, we'll get to the race and everything, but you know, you've been getting better and better. That's by our perception, of course. You've probably always been the same driver in your own mind or whatever. Well, we think you're progressing towards those top 5s, top 3s, and possible victories. How are you feeling out there, and how much confidence does this third place give you?
Yes, it helps a lot. Yeah, it's been a long haul. I go way back to the late '90s, running the 2K3 days, and I stopped racing back in 2010. And my good buddy Paul Travis Porkchop got me started back last June, and it's been a steep curve. Learning to drive these cars is a little different. You know, as you say, gaining that confidence and getting a little better and a little better each week, a little better, you know, more time, more seat time. So I feel like I'm starting to turn the curve a little bit and get a little more competitive, just trying to keep my nose clean and have fun with these guys. Great league we race in here.
Absolutely. Now, you guys race through the first couple of segments there very clean, but as always, Jason, it's a super speedway race, and when push comes to shove late, it can get a little wild. How are you feeling? How did you survive? What happened around you? Did you have to avoid anything here tonight?
Well, I got lucky. I would say some of the wrecks happened beside me on the top side. Fortunately, I was on the bottom. I qualified well, 4th, and I tried to stay patient all night, making sure that, you know, if I was that third guy in line, that I'm not pushing. I'm just letting the second guy in line push the leader there. So, you know, just tried to keep it clean, keep the patience as good as I could, and you know, some attrition happened, and then next thing we know, we're at a green white checker and running 5th, and I says, well, I'm gonna keep it on the bottom, and hopefully I can bring this thing home in one piece.
Yeah, I mean, if you had another 100 feet, you might have been coming home in victory lane there, Jason. But tell me a little bit about pit road. So important here. 2 green flag pit stops. I mean, it's so difficult, not only for yourself, but you got to have the people you come in with also have great stops. How did it work for you, and how difficult is it?
Well, I gotta tell you, pit stops were pretty flawless tonight. My teammates, George, Paul, Corey, and Otto, we pitted together, I think every time tonight, and I came out together. So we always wound back up in that lead pack. So I think all that went well. It's tough, but if you hit your marks just right, it just was one of those nights where everything went well on the pit road.
Well, I love it, Jason. I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear. You know, I feel like I'm a team owner talking to the driver right now. I mean, I can't believe it. Everything went well. What? Teledag is so difficult, man, and you need this team atmosphere, the friend atmosphere here. And at the end, you got to take what you can get, and you did just that, man. I mean, what are we thinking going forward, Jason? You've been getting better on the short tracks, getting better on the 1.5 miles. Are we thinking that we can start getting into these top 5s and top 3s more often now?
I still, the competition here is absolutely phenomenal. And, I talk to a lot of guys, the Jason Jacksons and some of the other ones that get a win, every now and then, and they just cherish them so much. Buckshot the other night, his win that he had, it's tough. It's tough, to get in that top 5, and that's where you got to be to have that opportunity to win. I don't think I'm quite, at that skill level yet. I'm getting close, knocking on the door. Maybe at a particular track or another, I might be able to catch a break, a little luck, run good, and you never know. It might be just around the corner. This is the start. I got in the top 3 for. I know it's a restrictor plate racetrack, but builds that confidence, as you said, D.
It certainly does, and we look forward to more from you with this confidence going forward. Jason, congrats on 3rd place, man. We turn the mic over to you. Anybody you want to shout out, any sponsors you want to thank, you go right ahead, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, to start with, I want to thank the admins for RGR, great, wonderful league. Got to thank Dean, you, Jared, Baron. Y'all do a hell of a job, and we appreciate y'all so much for broadcasting our races. As one of the sponsors of the Thursday Night League, East Coast Web Printers, my company, you guys do a phenomenal job. I have people watching from time to time, and they really do enjoy it, trying to get more people to tune in and watch some of the races. You got to thank my teammates as well, George, Paul, Corey, and Otto. And, mainly just all the guys here. God, it's a bunch of fun, and enjoy the heck out of it every chance I get on the racetrack with them. Thanks again.
All right, Jared, that is a very happy number 3. Jason Brantley finishing 3rd place here this evening.
And I'm down here on pit wall talking to a guy that may not be as happy as Brantley, and that's George Racone. George, let's talk about the end. Let's start at the end of this race. There's a wreck behind you. You had an opportunity to get the win, and Baris and you battled to the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's just one of those kind of nights. You're at the mercy of everybody else. But it was a good race. I mean, started midfield. Started getting a little dicey early. I decided, now I'm going to back off. So backed off into, 31st or something like that. And then just kind of maintained until the end. Had some good pit stops. I mean, my guys did a great job on pit road. Had some good pushing from Nick and Travis. And I mean, a lot of guys. It was a really, really good run. So I'm happy with 2nd. I mean, 1st would have been better, but, congrats to Nick and congratulations to Brantley on the 3rd and everybody, actually. It was a really good race there. Only got cautions at the end, and that's where you expect them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like, you had an opportunity there, but it was just you two guys out in front of everybody else. Did you think that you had an opportunity there to side draft Nick back? I mean, it seemed like you guys are playing the draft about as good as you could. What more did you need there? Just somebody else hooked up to you at the end?
Yeah, I mean, when they spun behind us, I kind of lost any kind of help I had at all. You can kind of see it at the line. And the last thing I ever want to do is take somebody out for a win. It's just not who I am. The racing that we had tonight, I had so much fun. 2nd place is fine. I got no problem with that at all. But yeah, it was a great race.
Well, George, you did great. Let's talk about how that race transpired. You said it yourself in your earlier part. You got on and off pit road very cleanly. You're part of the main pack all night long. How important was getting on and off pit road with the guys that you pitted with and maintaining where you were in that pack to your race result here tonight?
Well, unfortunately for me, I don't have any teammates in here. I'm sure we're all friends, but I don't really have anybody specifically like Jason had. He talked about 3 or 4 guys, so I'm pretty much a lone soldier out there. So I kind of just was paying attention to what other people were doing and just decided to pit at the last minute with a certain crowd. But yeah, getting on and off pit road is crucial, and timing, it just worked out for me today. Yeah.
You did a good job. You got yourself up there. And George, I'd be remiss to say, I mean, you were leading the charge there at the end. It looked like you had an opportunity to get it done. We move forward. We're, into the second half of the season. I mean, I think you're out here chasing wins. Next week, we're heading into Texas. How do you feel about that track?
Yeah, the problem is now is that I'm in the process of moving from the West Coast to the East Coast, and um, I'm not sure how many more events I'm going to be able to run. We're supposed to close in about a week, so I'm going to probably be off of racing for a while, and I don't know, maybe a couple of months. So yeah, I don't know if I can make it in Texas. I will. Texas is one of those tricky tracks too, so there's a lot of good guys in this league. I'm a mid packer at best, to be honest with you. But I wanted to say thank you to Todd really for letting me run limited time in this league. I really appreciate him and all his admins that handle this thing here, and appreciate you guys for the broadcast. I always watch them. I enjoy that with my coffees in the morning. Yeah.
All right. Well, George, great run here tonight. And for everybody here listening, George is a lone wolf out there, and he would be a great addition to any team, I think, Dean, as he grabs the second place here at Talladega tonight.
He definitely would. I mean, I'm a little concerned that he wakes up and listens to us, Jared. But nonetheless, I mean, we love having it. Great race by George Rincon. But there's one guy who had a great race. The 66, Nick Parise, down in victory lane. Congratulations, Nick. One hell of a victory.
Thank you. This is amazing to be here. I don't even know what to say. It was a crazy race, like you said, and somehow came out on top at the end.
Well, let's start there at the end. I mean, obviously, there's some contact, some things happen, and immediately your eyes got to light up and think, my God, it's just the two of us. And you did the right thing, Nick. You made a move early, in my opinion, the right thing.
Yeah, there was, I was talking to my teammates, Ed and Derek, on the restart there, and I had a choice to push one of two Georges. I thought I would get a better restart than Mickey on the outside, so it was either jump up to the outside and go with Leal or stay, with the 28 on the bottom. And I thought I'd just push the 28 out as far as I could and hope to get clear. And, when I finally did with that little wreck there, I guess on the outside, I didn't really see it, but it gave me the opportunity.
Man, and you seized it. I mean, tell me a little bit about this whole race, trying to survive it, trying to persevere through what was going on. Number one, pit stops. How did that go for you? Were you trapped behind? What happened during your first half of the race?
Well, any of my teammates will tell you I hate plate racing. So that's first, but I have, Ed as a teammate, and Ed, we call him the draft master. And he always jumps up 3 wide, and we just said the three of us we're gonna make it work. So we didn't qualify, Jason as well, and we just went up to the outside and kind of got really far up to the front. And then pit stops were pretty smooth on the first time. Second time coming in, I got into Derek a little bit and got him sideways. So I apologize to Derek, but that caution kind of brought us all back together.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, that's where the racing began, the hard racing, that is. And you get guys at that point in the race, Nick, they're starting to bump in inappropriate spots. That's just part of the deal at Dega. People want to get moving, they want to keep moving, they don't want to check up. How close were you to a couple of these late race wrecks?
I think I was pretty close to the last two, but after that caution came out, I think I was third in the caution. And decided to pit because I thought the car was getting a little squirrely, especially in the second lane, and I didn't feel like I could make the moves I needed to towards the end of the race without tires. So that put me back to about 16th. So getting back to the front, hopping back on the outside, getting through the middle at times. There was, I think, 2 close calls before that final, green-white checker. But somehow I avoided all of it.
Man, you end up in victory lane. Just tell us what it means to get one of these wins, man. They're so hard to come by here at RGR.
I mean, that's the thing. There's so many great racers in this league. This is, the most competitive league I've ever been a part of. So just being competitive in these is great. And, winning is hard to explain, that you're able to beat, George Leal and the other guy, the 14. There's so many talented drivers here. It just means a lot.
Yeah, it really does. I'm sure it does, man. Like Jared said, we're heading down to Texas now. The one thing we do know, winning, no matter where it is, gives a certain level of confidence. I mean, how you feeling about next week now?
I generally like the bigger tracks, mile and a half and mile and a half and bigger. I like the short tracks is where I really don't like racing on. So I'm feeling pretty good coming in these next few weeks here.
All right. Well, Nick, you got all the momentum on your side. You right after drinking all your champagne down in Victory Lane, you can turn your attention to Texas. But congrats on this victory, my friend. And we turn it over to you. Anybody, friends, family, sponsors you want to shout out, you please go right ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I got to thank you guys at Wind Tunnel TV. Always do a great job. I'm really going to look forward to watching this again tomorrow at some point. East Coast Web Printers, our Thursday sponsor, and Alive Church, our Sunday sponsor. All the admins over at RGR, like I said, they keep everyone in line. They make this one of the best places, if not the best place to race. All my teammates, Jason, Brandon's still on baby duty, so hopefully he's back soon. Ed and Derek, they were instrumental with me tonight in this race. And, got to thank the sponsor on the car, Civil Tech. So my wife's surveying and engineering company, and allows me to do this, buy the equipment to do this, and stay competitive.
All right, Jared, race winner, the 66, Nick Parise. I mean, what a race!
Yeah, it was. And, it came down to the end. These plate races always do, right? And it was one of those things. It was a one-on-one duel between him and George Racone. They utilized the side draft. They leaned on each other. They didn't overstep it, and they ended up grabbing the victory. Nick did, and what a job. You can't say anything more about how that race turned out for Nick. And it's always great to get your first one, Dean, no matter where it is.
It is. I mean, whether you're 15 and it's something else or racing, Jared, your first one is special. This one's going to go down in the memory books, and we hope we have another one. We hope we have one every week for you as we got a blocked picture here, but every week, 9:10 p.m. here. We'll be in Texas next week. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that's going to wrap it up here from Talladega. And we'll see you right here next time on